All right, my name is Tendai Chirau. I am the Acting Deputy Secretary for Youth Affairs. I'm also a Politburo member in the Zanu-PF ruling party and the leader of the youth in Zanu-PF.
We have seen there are calls for an anti-government demonstration, anti-corruption. They are saying it. What would be your comment in terms of the demonstrations that have been penciled for July 3rd?
Thank you very much. We need to be clear and precise on important points. The first important point is that we are a country that has laws that have got to be followed. We have a government that is running the day. And the issue and the subject of corruption we are preoccupied with as the government of the day. President Nagaga has set up the apparatus to ensure that corruption is done away with once and for all. Remember that the issue of corruption was one of our important subjects that we included in the manifesto during the 2018 elections. And what the president has done is set up different institutions to do with corruption. One of them is the reconstitution of ZAC, where we have got ZAC, which is currently headed by Justice Matanda Moyo. And we've got a number of cases, both in government, also in the private sector, that are being dealt with. We've got cases that are actually in the courts, and this is courtesy of the new dispensation. So in as far as corruption is concerned, much is being done in that respect to fight it. Corruption is not just fought through a presser, but you follow certain systems, you follow procedures, and there are institutions that are responsible for dealing with corruption. Let me give you an example. We've got the case of the former Minister of Environment and Tourism, Priska Mfumira. There were allegations, and the president did what he did as a leader to ensure that this person is actually excused from occupying a cabinet post. The case is still within the courts. You talk about the case of drugs, the issue of drugs. The people who made representations, the issue is still within the courts. So I can say to you that the issue of corruption is being dealt with, but also most importantly, you look at corruption which is happening in the urban councils. We have recently the officials from the city of Harare who were occupying very, very expensive houses, and they are within the courts, and I just read in the press today that they've been denied bail. So this is a journey which you are doing. So the issue of corruption is being handled properly using the proper procedures. But we have got people who say that they want to demonstrate, and they want to, if you look at the communication that they are using, many hashtags like Zanu-PF should vacate office. They are trying to use undemocratic means to remove Zanu-PF from power under the auspices of a demonstration, of which this is mischievous, this is reckless, and it would be resisted by any progressive mind of this country, because we cannot have people who want to protest to cause anarchy. We've got laws to protect the president who is in charge, because in 2018 we won the election, and we've got a leadership in this country. We have a responsibility of governing. And if they are governing, if they see that there is any possibility of trying to create instability and anarchy, they will use the instruments of the state that are responsible for maintaining law and order. And this is going to be done. Remember, we have got a history. If you go back to history, you remember the demonstrations of August. And one of your journalists here, Lovejoy, was a victim to the hoodlums himself. He was doing his work, but we've got people who had been organized under the pretext of demonstrating against the election results that were not yet to be announced. So we cannot allow anarchy and despondency and instability to be caused in this country. What is happening is that the country have got apparatus that are responsible for making sure that there is law and order, and law and order will be maintained upon this day.
The issue of corruption has been topical. Even your predecessors were talking of corruption amongst the people who were said to be sponsoring Zanu-PF, the likes of Kudata Guire, Billy Rottenberg. It seems as if you talk of those, if you bring up those names, it seems you would have gone to the wrong level. What would be your comment on that?
There are very important things that you've got to understand, my brother. If I say that you are corrupt, I must provide irrefutable evidence, and that evidence must be taken to ZAC. You don't just say that so and so is corrupt because this person has got money. It's not a crime to be rich in this country. But also, we are also against people who get rich through corrupt means. But what you are basically saying that if there is anyone who claims that A, B, C, D is corrupt, it's important to use the courts of law. It's important to approach the organizations and institutions responsible with evidence. There are some people who claim that so and so ABC is corrupt, but they've failed up to this day. They've never taken any evidence to ZAC so that they can start the prosecution. So the issue of just screaming about corruption on top of a hill without providing the evidence to the institutions, I think it's something that is, it's a futile exercise. It doesn't make sense at all.
One would say that Zanu-PF does the same. It's there on record as saying the MDC run councils are corrupt, but no one has been brought to book. What would you say about that?
I think that the issue of corruption is an issue that has to be dealt with. And corruption, just like the law, knows no color. In councils, it's being done. I talk about the council officials, but we also hope to see that the councillors also were implicated, are also arrested, they also face the law. But you know that what happens in this country because of polarization, when someone from the opposition is arrested, they claim that this is a political persecution. When someone from the ruling party possibly is arrested, such person starts to allege that I'm actually being persecuted because of my political beliefs. Corruption is corruption, whether it's done by whoever is done. And the law is clear in what is supposed to be done. And what is important, what we've got to appreciate, is that since the history of this country, if you've read the political economy of this country, you will notice that President Mnangagwa is one of the presidents who have been so serious, even during from the time of Rhodesia, from the time of Smith. If you look at what Smith used to do in terms of corruption, there is no leader who has been so serious and dedicated to the issue of creating sanity in this country. This is President Mnangagwa. He has done it, and he has fired, within 2 years, he has fired more than 2 ministers, and we've got a former minister who is currently in jail. Something that never happened during the time of his predecessors. So this is clear that the new dispensation under the leadership of President Mnangagwa is very serious about corruption, and we are seeing this is being done to ensure that we have sanity in all the sectors.
The arrest of Wobo Chinyama, he has been a whistleblower of many corruption cases, including the drugs one. And people, do you think his arrest is something to do with his exposure of government officials?
But my brother, you need to be serious. You're a journalist. There are many people who have been arrested in this country for various crimes. People have been arrested, people who are corrupt, people who publicize false information. There are many people who have been arrested. But what is important to know is that there are laws in this country. And if someone is taken to court, let the court follow its procedure. Let it follow its what it has to do. So the police, they have a right to arrest when they see that there's reason for them to arrest a person. We are here to see the charges. What are the charges? What are they? But I know that whatever is being done according to law. If he is innocent to the charges that is being charged against, the court will prove that. There's no one who is special. The courts, the institutions, the police are there to ensure that they maintain law and order in this country.
The arrest comes barely 2 weeks after Comrade Chinamasa issued a statement warning Chimono that they will silence him. Is this the way of silencing him, the arrest?
No, but you agree with me that Chingono is not sacrosanct. He is not a god. He is just a human being like anyone else. If he does something, if he publishes falsehoods, the law will catch up with him. If you do the same thing will happen to you. I'll ask you an important thing. You know about the issue of Julian Assange in the issue of WikiLeaks. In America, where they claim that it's a doyen of democracy, but he was arrested. If you publish falsehoods, and if there's anything, or if you incite using social media, there are laws. Laws are there to make sure that there is law and order. We've got a country to govern. We cannot have people to do their things. They cannot just do things that they want without following the law. The law will catch up with you.
Right. There are also reports that the arrest of Chimono has something to do with factional fights within Zanu-PF. Are there any factional fights in Zanu-PF?
I wouldn't know. Zanu-PF is a united party. Zanu-PF is under the leadership of President Emmerson Mnangagwa, and we are in full support of his leadership. And we follow. There's no other, we cannot talk of any other leader. We cannot talk of any other thing. If there are people who are thinking that they can do their own machinations, I think they are dreaming, because President Mnangagwa is in charge. I wouldn't know how Zanu-PF is connected to how Zanu-PF runs its affairs.
It's no secret that the economy is affecting, the downfall of the economy is affecting the ordinary citizens. Is there anything, as you are part of the youth leadership, the country is the majority of the people in the country are youth. Most of them are unemployed. Have you ever forwarded anything to the government so that they address the challenges that the youth are facing?
That's a very important thing. It's clear that, of course, we've got challenges within the economy, and some of them, they are caused by what you call non-traditional threats. Some things that you cannot do anything about, but you've got to think of measures to curtail them. One of them is the issue of drought. It's clear that within the region that there was drought, we received low rainfall, and as a result, this caused a lot of food deficit. You also have the challenges of Cyclone Idai, where the fiscus had to allocate some funds to assist in assisting those people who had been affected by Cyclone Idai. Then we've got this endemic COVID-19, which has affected the whole globe. These are challenges that we have, but there are many solutions that we think that they must be adopted. One of them is to make sure that youth are given platforms to be able to create their own employment. One of them is ensuring that there's access to land. Access to land is critical and is very, very important for the youth, because if you've got land, you are able to be productive on it. The issue of land is very important. The issue of access to mining claims is another avenue that you are also looking at. But we also need to understand that besides all these things that you are pushing, there are also other jobs that are being created, especially in the construction of the road, the bed. He has no reason to talk to beg anyone. President Mnangagwa is busy with the affairs of this country.
Sorry, can I just interject? Speaking about the president being busy, can you maybe outline for us what are some of the achievements that President Mnangagwa has managed to do from 2018 until now?
All right. I think the successes of the new dispensation, one of them is addressing the economic fundamentals like budget deficit. This country was operating with a negative budget. It had a budget deficit. And we are seeing now with the measures that President Mnangagwa has done, we now have a surplus. We also now need to talk about the issue of the seriousness on the issue of dealing with corruption. And I've alluded to that we've got different people who have been arrested, whether it's Zimbra, some we are actually serving. And this is another success that you can notice from President Mnangagwa. Then the issue of re-engagement and engagement. Re-engagement and engagement, this means talking to those people, other countries, in terms of making sure that we resolve, we make sure that we've got relations, we've got cordial relations with those nations. So we are seeing those fruits coming from re-engagement. Recently with John Deere, the private company in America that manufactures tractors. This is as a result of re-engagement and engagement. So these are some of the key things that we are also seeing happening in that particular sector. Then we look at investment in the mining sector. Investment in the mining sector, but remember that investment in the mining sector does not take, it's not something that you just see possibly the results within 12 months. No, but we have got to work at Carroll Resources, work undergoing the investment there, making and we'll see we'll see the results of this. Then we have got the funding of the Wange 7 and 8. Now, wherever you live now, you can see that there is quite an improvement in terms of electricity. Load shedding is now minimized. So these are some of the successes that have been scored by the new dispensation. But what I say to you, let me give you an analogy of a baby being born. A baby is not just born today and start running. No. There are some stages that they've got to follow. And President Mnangagwa is committed to ensure that this Zimbabwe catches up with the rest of the world in terms of the economy and overtakes. This is under the pretext of the Vision 2030, where Zimbabwe by 2030 it should be a middle to earning economy. So these are some of the things that President Mnangagwa is doing. Another important thing that he's also trying to do is the issue of peace. Making sure that there is harmony in this country. People, Zimbabweans love peace. Because if there is no peace, we cannot progress economically. We need order. And he is making sure that stability and peace is also in our motherland.
Your last words in terms of, in light of the COVID-19, what would be your advice to Zimbabweans?
My brother, COVID is real. There is no need for us to relax. Look at what is happening in South Africa. Look at what is happening across the world. South Africa is now the 5th in terms of about more than 400,000, about 383,000 cases. And we are neighbors to South Africa. Let's take this disease seriously. Let's stay safe. Let me quote President Mnangagwa what he said. That we can resurrect the economy another time. But it's difficult for us to resurrect human beings. All the measures which are being done by the government are not meant for the government, but they are meant for us. I was worried to see that some people are wearing masks, not to avoid getting the COVID, but they are wearing masks because they are afraid of the police. So it's important to know that whatever preventive measures which have been put in place, they are meant for us. Let's stay safe. Let's practice social distancing. Let's wear masks correctly. Let's ensure that we take all the measures to ensure that we remain safe. This is an endemic, like what the World Health Organization said. And when something is an endemic, it means that it's here to stay with us. We need to make sure that we stay safe. Yes, I understand that there are also the issue of economic needs, necessities. Most of our people are used to do formal jobs. Let's find means to ensure that we do measures, we do business in such a way that we protect ourselves against this endemic. But I also want to thank some enterprising youth that during this time, they've also managed to be very innovative and tried to use ICT to sell their goods. They are delivering goods in different localities. This is important. Let's find means to adapt to ensure that we are safe and sound. This is our country. This is our health. Let's stay safe from COVID-19. Then we've got this endemic as COVID-19, which has affected the whole globe. These are challenges that we have, but there are many solutions that we think that they must be adopted. One of them is to make sure that youth are given platforms to be able to create their own employment. One of them is ensuring that there is access to land. Access to land is critical and is very, very important for the youth, because if you've got land, you are able to be productive on it. The issue of land is very important. The issue of access to mining claims is another avenue that we are also looking at. But we also need to understand that besides all these things that we are pushing, there are also other jobs that are being created, especially in the construction of the road, the Bed Bridge, Chirondo Road. There are many youth who have gotten employment through there. But we are still pushing to ensure that we have got many ideas that are coming from young people that we can put together to ensure that we find the means to survive regardless of the challenges that you are facing. And this is not done through engaging in useless demonstrations. Remember, we have people that I call demopreneurs. Demopreneurs. We have got entrepreneurs, is it? People that you see doing their own business. Then we have got people that are called demopreneurs, and some of these include the likes of Promise Mkwana and Z, just to mention about a few. He has never gone to work. What they know is that they get money from NGOs, they get money from some rogue embassies, and they get that money to make demonstrations to cause their own country, to cause anarchy in their own country. And this is what we should fight against as progressive Zimbabweans. He has never gone to work. Their industry that they are in is what you call demopreneurship. They survive on demonstrations. That's how they make money. And as the organizers, that's how they get the money. And what we are saying, let's make sure that as people who love their nation, let's contribute the ideas that build this nation, not to cause instability.
Then you raised the issue of employment creation along the Rari Bay Bridge, Chirundu road construction. There are allegations that those who are awarded, are given the opportunity to work within those projects are aligned to the ruling party, Zanu-PF. Is the door open to every Zimbabwean, irrespective of their political affiliation?
I don't know when people are employed in certain project, people are employed as Zimbabweans. As long as you're a Zimbabwean, it's not only in terms of the jobs, it's also in terms of contracts. Possibly the issue of getting sand, stores, and etc. There is no politics that is looked at when we look at the issue of employment in government departments or anywhere else. But what is important, we look at people who love their country. And people who love their country are found in different spheres.
Okay, you're talking of nation building. Mm-hmm. Some people have been calling for President Emerson Mnangagwa to sit down with Nelson Chamisa to reach an agreement whereby the nation moves forward.
But my brother, what agreement is that legal under the laws of the country? What instruments? Because remember, my brother, in 2018 elections, we went to elections and we won. We voted for you. And we won with by a margin of more than 400,000 votes. And President Mnangagwa created a platform to ensure that anyone who participated in the 2018 elections can come through Poland. Everyone was invited. Then we've got some people who are egocentric, who have got their own egos and who think that they can do whatever they want.